And thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are in Psalm 84 today, and we're going to be talking about the importance and the blessing of being in God's presence. We've talked about this actually throughout this week, and really the difference it is between feeling the spiritual oppression of this world and then experiencing the freedom and the lightness of God's presence. And my prayer has been all week long is that we would tune out the things of this world and tune in to the blessing and the provisions and really just the lightness that we can experience in God's presence. You know, when we're in God's presence, it's like God lifts up these heavy burdens that we have in our lives. And I understand, I mean, we all have responsibilities. We all have things in our lives that we carry. But one thing that I absolutely love about God is that we can set those burdens down because he can carry them, he can handle them, and we can experience a freedom and a lightness in his presence. Listen to the first few verses in Psalm 84, and then I'll be reading verse 10 as it reminds me of a worship song, a praise song that I used to sing all the time back when I was in youth group. Starting in verse 1, it says, "How lovely is your dwelling place, Lord Almighty. My soul yearns and even faints for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. Even the sparrow has found a home, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may have her young, a place near your altar. Lord Almighty, my King and my God, blessed are those who dwell in your house. They are ever praising you." And I just wanted you to think about maybe even a location, a place where you can really dedicate to tuning to God. The blessing with God is that his presence is everywhere, right? He's omnipresent. But there is something about us because there's so many distractions and there's so many things that can vie after our time and attention to. Maybe there is a place that you can tune in to him a little bit closer. It could be somewhere in your home. It could be, somewhere even at your workplace or whatever, wherever it is. Would you choose to dedicate a space where you tune out the things of this world and tune in to his presence? Blessing, he's saying, blessed are those who choose to do that. And then in verse 10, it says, "Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere." That's a song that I used to sing all the time. Better is one day. Man, it's music is so powerful. That's why we do Worship Wednesday every week, because it is something that you can constantly remember, even if you haven't heard that song in maybe a decade. When that song comes on, and especially when it's worship music and you're connecting with God. When I hear that song, even like today, I think back of those times when I was a teenager and just chasing after God. And when this verse says a place near your altar, man, I remember when I was a teenager, I was still a punk kid. Don't get me wrong, but there was a desire to be in his presence. There was a desire for me to chase after him and to really run to the altar and surrender. And I'm so thankful because God spared me from so many things that I could have and should have experienced of this world. But I chose to chase after him. I chose to run after him. And I got to experience, and I get to continue to experience being in his presence. Why? Because it's a choice. So would you choose to run after him? Would you choose to dwell in his presence? And may you receive his blessings as you choose to do so. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I shoot you in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.